The Bhattacharya at once fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord and composed many suitable shlokas in praise of the Lord by his grace. He composed 100 shlokas in praise of the Lord. These 100 shlokas in praise of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sometimes they are called Sarvabhauma Shataka, and sometimes they are called Sushloka Shataka. Sarvabhauma Shataka means 100 verses composed by Sarvabhauma. Sushloka Shataka means 100 beautiful verses. So this is exactly what he did. The book is still available. I have noticed an English translation of uh, Sarvabhauma Shataka. Just that somehow I'm not in my computer. I don't have a copy of it, so I'm not able to show you. The Lord then embraced him, and out of transcendental ecstasy, the Bhattacharya lost consciousness of the physical state of life. Tears, trembling, throbbing of the heart, perspiration, emotional waves, dancing, singing, crying, and all the 8 symptoms of trance were manifested in the body of the Bhattacharya. Sri Gopinath Acharya became very glad and astonished by this marvelous conversion of his brother-in-law by the grace of the Lord. So this is Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's kindness, that if we are even a little bit receptive, then even though we may be excessively foolish due to uh, our scholarship or whatever, uh, still by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and even more so by the mercy of the associates of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Uttamadhikari Acharyas descending in the line of Rupa Goswami, then such marvelous conversions can take place. Out of the 100 celebrated shlokas composed by the Bhattacharya in praise of the Lord, the following 2 are most important, and these 2 shlokas explain the mission of the Lord in gist. 1. Let me surrender unto the personality of Godhead who has appeared now as Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is the ocean of all mercy and has now come down to teach us material detachment, learning, and devotional service to himself. Since pure devotional service of the Lord has been lost in the oblivion of time, the Lord has appeared to renovate the principles, and therefore I offer my obeisances unto his lotus feet. These 2 verses are very, very important. This is the first verse. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shikshartham Ekah Purushah Purana Shri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari Kripambudhir Yastamaham Prapadye. The idea is that I surrender unto him, who is the ocean of transcendental mercy and who has accepted the body, or which means the form of Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is actually a very old or eternal person, one person who is the supreme person, and he has accepted this form just to instruct about 3 subject matters. One is Vairagya, detachment from everything that does not help develop Krishna consciousness, knowledge, as well as devotional service unto his own lotus feet. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He is descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. This is the Supreme Lord's mission. And Prabhupada once mentioned that these 3 items are in fact the mission of the Krishna consciousness movement. These 3 items: Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga, devotional service unto his own lotus feet, accompanied by relevant knowledge called Sambandha Jnana, as well as relevant renunciation. These 3 are most important in the execution of devotional service. So Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he came to teach these 3 items, and we should also accept these 3 items from Lord Chaitanya through his devotees. And here is the next verse. कालान्नष्टं भक्तियोगं निजं यः प्रादुष्कर्तुं कृष्णचैतन्यनामा आविर्भूतस्तस्य पादारविन्दे गाढं गाढं लीयतां चित्तभृङ्गः. Let my consciousness, which is like a honeybee, be merged very deeply in in the lotus feet of him, um, whose lotus feet, in the lotus feet of that person named Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in that person who has appeared with this name. Why did he appear? He appeared in order to revive the signs of devotional service which is actually applicable to him only, and which had been previously destroyed uh, in in course of time from misuse of material propensities and because of attachment to fruitive activities and speculative knowledge. So over time, because of the propensity of the conditioned souls towards adharmic activities as well as karma, jnana, and yoga, uh, which are different items presented within Vedic knowledge uh, as optional accessories which could help lead one to the point of bhakti yoga. But because one becomes unnecessarily attached to them and because of misuse of one's material propensities, in course of time, the human population which may be eligible for devotional service to the Supreme Lord gives up devotional service to the Supreme Lord. So in order to revive it, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has appeared. Let my consciousness, which is like a honeybee, take shelter of the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who has just now appeared as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach the ancient system of devotional service to himself. This system had almost been lost due to the influence of time. So he is an ancient person because he is the eternal person. He is an eternal person. Okay, so let's move on. The Lord explained the word mukti to be equivalent to the word Vishnu or the personality of Godhead. To attain mukti or liberation from the bondage of material existence is to attain to the service of the Lord. This is in a certain context. Sarvam Bhattacharya did not, even though he was a Mayavadi previously, and a Mayavadi is the highest goal of their existence is to attain mukti, liberation from material existence. But Sarvam Bhattacharya, when he saw a verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam which contained the word mukti, which described Lord Vishnu as mukti pade, one at whose feet there is mukti. Sarvam Bhattacharya did not like that word mukti, and when he recited one specific Bhagavatam verse which contained that expression mukti pade, he instead of it he recited bhakti pade. So then Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately caught him on this point. So what had happened was Sarvam Bhattacharya, he recited a certain verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. The verse that he had recited was, he wanted to recite this verse. This particular verse 10:14:8, and you can see how he recited it. This is how he recited: Tattenukam pamsus samikshmano bhunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvagupurvir vidhan namaste jiveto yo bhakti padesa daya bhak. Now notice here that he has used this expression bhakti pade. Anyway, the meaning is as the Bhattacharya recited: one who seeks your compassion and thus tolerates all kinds of adverse conditions due to the karma of his past deeds, who engages always in your devotional service with his mind, words, and body, and who always offers obeisances unto you, is certainly a bona fide candidate for becoming your unalloyed devotee. So he is a bona fide candidate for devotional service unto the Supreme Lord. But notice that this is the actual verse. The actual verse is here. And this verse is quite similar. Tatteno kampam susamikshmano bhunjanaye vatmakritam vipakam hridvagvapurбhir vidathan namaste jiveto yo mukti pade sadaya bhak. And notice here that the next um, look here what is stated here. Here it says bhakti pade. See, here it says bhakti pade, but in the actual Bhagavatam text it says mukti pade, mukti pade. So the idea is he changed from the original. The verse runs as follows: My dear Lord, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds, and offers you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. And here, in the verse that Sarvabhauma was quoting, he's basically saying he becomes eligible for engaging in devotional service. And his idea was, what is this mukti? I don't like this word mukti in the original Bhagavatam text. Mukti reminds me of impersonal liberation. Even though there are personalistic liberation, it reminds me of impersonal liberation. But therefore, instead of mukti, I recited this word bhakti. But Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told him that no, you don't have to actually change a Bhagavatam text in order to have a proper understanding of the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mukti can be taken as an equivalent to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Mukti Pade, Mukti Pada is Krishna, one who is the source of all forms of liberation. And ultimately speaking, the real type of liberation that we are talking of is attainment of service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead is, factually speaking, the real liberation. Here in the Srimad Bhagavatam 2.10.6, here you find Muktir Hitvanyatha Rupam Swarupena Vyavastitihi. Direct statement from the Srimad Bhagavatam that liberation is the permanent situation of the form of the living entity after he gives up the changeable gross and subtle material bodies. So mukti also means to give up one's other form, which refers to the variety of forms that one appears to accept by in connection with one's subtle and gross bodies. Swarupena Vyavastiti, to be permanently situated in one's own constitutional form. So the Bhagavatam accepts that mukti can also be understood as being in one's constitutional position and rendering devotional service to the Supreme Lord. The Lord then proceeded towards South India for some time and converted all he met on the way to become devotees of Lord Sri Krishna. Such devotees also converted many others to the cult of devotional service or to the Bhagavata Dharma of the Lord, and thus he reached the bank of the Godavari, where he met Srila Ramananda Rai, the governor of Madras, on behalf of Maharaj Prataparudra, the king of Orissa. His talks with Ramananda Rai are very important for higher realization of transcendental knowledge. Notice this. Even though there are various levels of understanding, the Lord's conversation with Ramananda Rai deal with higher realizations, sadhya tattva, on the truth of what is the ultimate necessity or goal of the living entities. And the conversation itself forms a small booklet. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita, this appears as one complete chapter. Madhya Leela chapter 8, talks between Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. This is an extensive chapter, and it is here that this has been brought out very beautifully.